I hope you all are doing well. My name is Ratika, and I'm your host for today's session on 2020X Vision AI Drives Business Outcomes. So, before we start our session, I request all the participants uh, to please mention their name and their location in the comment section. And we're also going to have a Q&A, and I encourage active participation and engagement. Also, I'm thrilled to announce that today we have marked 1 year of our Growth Sutra in 30 minutes power packed session. And what makes it even more special is that we have been grateful for all the positive feedbacks that we have been receiving for our past sessions. So, we have our past session on Wall Street concepts for go to market, and we have 4 sessions on that. Uh, our next series was on qualifying leads, and uh, these were very insightful sessions. Last month, we began a new series on 2020X Vision with AI. So, this was our first session which we had on AI, and today's the second session we'll be having. Uh, we'll be continuing this series for 2 more months. The next month in January, we'll be having a session on 2020X Vision, the focal point. And in the month of February, we'll be having another session on 2020X Vision, the AI change maker. So you can follow the Growth Sutra LinkedIn handle for all the notification for our forthcoming season. And also, in case you have missed watching our past sessions, you can visit our YouTube channel and watch the on demand video over there. I'll post a link to our session shortly in the comment section. So, we can't wait to share more insights with you. And let's start session. So, let me quickly introduce you to Vishendra Verma, who's the founder and CEO of Growth Sutra and also the host for today's session.
Thank you, Ritika, and thank you so much for taking us through, about the past session that we had. We had an exciting year, and together with Dennis, we conceptualized the various topics and themes, and we had almost had an occasion to kind of connect with participants from various countries. And as far as I remember, I think we touched upon almost like 4,000 participants in last 1 year, which is quite a success. But we began with another series on 2020X Vision with AI, and this is the second session that we are going to have. Um, uh, I have a esteemed panel who has joined me today for this session. I have Dennis Roman. Dennis is the founder and CEO of Roman's Number. Dennis, do you like to quickly introduce yourself?
Delighted to be here again with you, Vish. Thanks so much for you and Ritik putting these together for us. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you, Dennis. Let me bring Melroy. Hi, Melroy. Melroy is the founder of MCMK. Melroy, do you want to talk about yourself? Quickly
Yeah,
introduce.
absolutely. Thank you, Vish, and a pleasure to be here with everyone. So my name is Melroy Coelho. I'm based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I run a agile growth marketing venture studio out of Toronto, and work globally with clients all across Israel, US, Canada, India, everywhere. Pleasure being here. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Melroy. Let me introduce Charlie. Let me add him here. Hi, Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie is the Chief Marketing Officer at LSP. You like to introduce yourself, Charlie?
yeah. Good morning. Like you said, I'm the CMO at Elicity. We're a early stage cybersecurity startup that focuses on network security, and I'm also an advisor to a few companies helping businesses find practical use cases to generative AI.
Thank you. Thanks, Charlie. So let's kick off. Let me quickly share what we have today for you in terms of the flow of the session. So first of all, we quickly have a deep dive in KPIs in the AI first world. Then we are going to have business planning 101, again budget and span authority. There's a session which Dennis will cover. Melroy will talk about driving business model innovation with AI. And then we are going to have the exciting part of today's session. That's going to be AI live demos. and that will be showcased by Charlie in today's session. So now kick things off by examining how AI can power organizations to meet their 2024 business objectives. So as we enter 2024, companies will have unprecedented opportunities to harness AI to drive real business benefits, whether it's higher revenue, lower cost, improved efficiency, or increased agility. The overarching focus will be practical steps you can take to enable AI-powered business outcomes in the new year. So let's have a quick look at the ultimate scorecard for a focused, lean, and agile business. And if you look at, and this is on the base of the discussion that I had with the startup founders and CEOs, and the most of the times they are focused on growth signals and customer signals, while traditionally, lag indicators um, uh, have been the mainstream KPIs for most of the organizations, where they used to assess their revenue, cash flow, return on equity, profit margins, on-time delivery, production yield, quality metrics. But then in the new age, where we have dynamics which are led by innovative technologies like artificial intelligence, we have to also revisit our KPIs. And for focused, lean, and agile businesses, the growth signals and customer signals are the center stage. So they focus more on lead indicators, wherein that defines their organization velocity or potential, and they also look at customer signals, which could be in terms of customer lifetime value, customer profitability, net promoter score, so on and so forth. But this is, what is also important is how you kind of revisit these KPIs in today's scenario, where AI is kind of coming with new technologies, new mindsets, and also in terms of new areas that AI can transform, that AI can enhance productivity about. So in fact, what we did, we done a quick survey with the founders and CEOs, and we had actually taken four different scenarios, especially for founders. When if you are a founder or leader of a company, what business decision would you want AI to help tackle first? And we had four options for them. One is growth forecasting, resource constraints, customer targeting, and cost reductions. So while all these four areas are of importance for the founders and leaders, but when you look at the response that we've got, we found that these founders are actually are trying to leverage AI primarily for customer targeting. And the second most area that they would like to tackle is the growth forecasting, which is very much linked to what I shared in terms of the growth signals there. So while all these four areas are important for an agile and lean organization, but the immediate area that founders and leaders would like to tackle first is the customer targeting. And that actually resonates in the various studies and surveys that have been run uh, by various consultants and organizations. So if I can run, this is a study which was done by MIT Sloan Management. It is an article which was published, and what they did highlight is maximizing. You can maximize business benefits by using artificial intelligence that drives KPIs. So in fact, those companies who are using AI to define new KPIs, they are able to see, almost 90% of those organizations will see improvement in the way they are monitoring or assessing their KPIs. Similarly, there are also certain areas which have been highlighted, especially in terms of business benefits. So if you're using AI, your efficiencies would have, so 54% of the companies, they feel that their efficiency has certainly gone up. 46% mentioned that they were able to do more precise measurements of their KPIs. And then, there's a greater financial benefits that 33% of the companies talked about. Um, the other study, which was done by McKinsey, is primarily in terms of the value potential of generative AI use cases. And if you look at the 75% of the annual value from generative AI use case will come from four business functions. And all these four functions are primarily from that growth, that actually caters to the growth signals. And these are your customer operations, marketing and sales, software engineering, and R&D. And if you look at the chart which McKinsey has shared, you would see that sales, marketing, product, R&D, customer operations. This is where the value potential for generative AI is going to be very huge in the coming few years. All right. So, I just thought I'll quickly set the context. But now let me invite next speaker, Dennis, who is going to talk about how to gain budget and span authority as part of your business planning 101. Dennis, over to you.
Right. Thank you, Vish. That was very interesting. It shows that the research definitely shows that the customer is still king. um,
Exactly.
that's their priority. So I have a slightly, I'd like to think a little bit of an unusual take on the subject today. Uh, can you see my slides there, Vish?
Yeah.
Okay, so using AI for better business outcomes. Um, and the point I wanted to draw our audience's attention to is this business planning 101. If we ran a survey question right now, which we'd like to, but we want to save as much time as we can for both Melroy and Charlie. If we ran a survey question right now, this would be a good point for it, which is why do we do business plans? And the answers that would come would be disparate, they'd be varied, there would be a volume of those. And what I would like to emphasize is, okay, all of that is true. In my world, the main purpose of doing business planning is to get somebody to give me a budget and the authority to spend the budget. And in fact, we don't work that way. We work the other way. We start at the beginning and we figure out, do we need to do this? Do we need to do that? And I'd like to posit this theory that if we start with the concept that whenever we get to the end of the business plan, the real challenge is to get somebody to approve the budget for the stuff that we want to do. It's typically true that whatever budget they gave us last year was insufficient for our needs. And it's also typically true that we didn't meet our objectives last year, not the sales team, not the marketing team. And so when we ask for budget for next year, it would be reasonable for the boss to say, well, you had money last year, you didn't meet your goals. I'm not sure why you're asking me for more money this year to keep those same things going when you didn't meet your goals. So just keeping to run the business becomes a challenge. But in point of fact, we want to change the business at the same time. So we ask for even more money. So it's selling the idea as to why the business plan should be accepted and the budget should be forthcoming is the point that I wanted to make. Okay, just a couple of slides. That's all I have. So this is my business, and I use AI for this. Basically, I help either teach or hunt for sales teams. And I do that by discovering elements that would be important for the business plan and a go to market. Which countries, which sectors, which industries, which companies, which lines of business, which job titles, which solutions, and for all of these, I use all my tools and expertise and AI to discover this. But this part is the research part. This goes into building the business plan, which isn't really the thing I wanted to focus on today. And I would ask the audience to consider this. The two sets of absolute truth regarding business. Businesses must use revenue and capital to make happy customers and reward the shareholders. If those things aren't operating correctly or operating with the right priority, then the business won't be in business too terribly long. And the way to achieve that is through operational excellence, the relationships and communications with the customers, and financial management. Every business on the planet, public, private, small, medium, large. I saw a note come across my desk just now. The market cap of Apple is now almost the entire market cap of the entire country of France. The entire stock market in France, market capitalization is about the same size of the Apple stock. So while these things are true of Apple, they're also true in the world where Charlie works a lot in startups and that area as well, and everything in between. So my question for the audience to be thinking about is, how does your brand or your solution fit in with these six things? And I'm highlighting the first and the last one: using revenues and capital and financial management. And I think this will take us to just about my last slide. On this slide, I have highlighted all the things that are really, really important about a company's allocation of capital. How can they allocate it? They can invest in CapEx, they can invest in dividends, they can do a merger. All of that's true. The four that I wanted to emphasize was investment in growth and expansion, research and development, operational efficiency, and risk management. This is a guidebook for figuring out how you're going to get approval for the business plan you did. You tell your boss, or you tell the board, or you tell the managing director of the profit center, what we have proposed in the business plan is expressly aimed at either one or two or five or eight, and use those as a prism through which you can shove your business plan. Okay, that's it for me, Bish. I hope the audience enjoyed that.
Thank you. Thanks, Anis. And I'd also like to request audience, in case if they have any questions for the panelists, they can share their questions in the comment box, and we'll ask the panelists those questions. And if you have any comment, feel free to add your comment as well. Okay, let me now invite Melroy to talk about driving business model innovation with AI. Melroy, stage is yours.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. You can hear me, right, Vish?
Very
Yes.
nice.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. So, hello, folks. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about leveraging generative AI in the agile growth marketing domain. MCMK is a growth marketing venture studio operating out of Toronto, Canada. So, my intent is to share how we are using agile marketing and generative AI to support specific marketing and business outcomes. To make best use of our time, it's best to talk about the opportunities and then how and why we're utilizing these capabilities. Several generative AI platforms are being leveraged to boost agile marketing project outcomes. For example, Divide is a digital community and investment platform powered by data and AI, focused on digitizing customer investor relations. Excuse me. Divide provides access for founders without elite networks or Ivy League connections, and it connects them to experts and top industry accelerators and investors. The platform offers real time connections and interactions, including virtual pitch sessions for startup teams. Divide positions itself as a revolutionary platform in the venture capital and startup industry, distinct from boot camps, accelerators, or incubators. Growth Loop has introduced a range of generative AI enabled product enhancements built on Google Cloud, aiming to transform the marketing industry. Their solution allows marketers to activate and measure audiences, journeys, and campaigns with the help of generative AI. This enables increased productivity, targeted personalization, content generation at scale, and a focus on growth driven experimentation. Signum is another platform using generative AI for marketing, for automating ad campaigns by analyzing large data sets. They offer solutions for audience targeting, competitive analysis, and the generation of text and visual ad content. Sixth Sense is the last one I'm going to be talking about. And Sixth Sense is a B2B predictive intelligence platform that utilizes AI and machine learning to help companies identify and prioritize potential buyers. It primarily focuses on account based marketing and sales acceleration. Sixth Sense AI offers the capability to create automated prospecting strategies that are highly scalable. The advent of generative AI has made personalized automated prospecting possible. Digital marketers can use the data in their CRM to tailor messages to individual interests, buyer personas, and other characteristics without needing to manually build out a separate campaign for each segment. Generative AI has the capability to create new content. Unlike traditional AI models that are trained to perform specific tasks, generative AI models such as ChatGPT can generate human like text based on the input they receive. Agile marketing is an iterative and adaptive process where small, highly collaborative teams work in a series of short cycles or sprints, incorporating rapid feedback to deliver solutions, emphasizing transparency amongst all stakeholders. Agile marketing and generative AI are two powerful concepts that, when combined, can enhance marketing strategies, streamline processes, and drive innovation. Agile teams can leverage generative AI to quickly create and test different variations of content. This supports the iterative and experimental nature of agile marketing. Generative AI can analyze customer data to generate personalized marketing messages and campaigns. Agile methodologies allow teams to adapt campaigns based on real time feedback. Agile marketing relies on data to inform decisions. Generative AI can enhance data analysis capabilities, providing actionable insights for more informed decision making. Generative AI can automate repetitive tasks, freeing up marketers to focus on creative and strategic aspects. Agile teams can respond quickly to changes in the marketing landscape. Agile marketing encourages experimentation and continuous improvement. Generative AI can support A B testing and help identify optimal strategies through data analysis. Generative AI powered chatbots can enhance customer engagement, providing real time responses. Agile teams can iterate on these interactions to improve customer satisfaction. In summary, the combination of agile marketing and generative AI creates a dynamic and adaptive marketing environment. It allows teams to respond swiftly to changing market conditions, leverage data for strategic decision making, and harness the creative capabilities of AI for content generation and personalization. This integration can contribute to a more efficient, customer focused, and innovative marketing approach. Oops. In an agile growth marketing venture studio equipment, various partners and stakeholders play crucial roles in contributing to the success and growth of each venture. And they can include the venture studio team, investors, startups, portfolio companies, advisors and mentors, marketing experts, technology partners, service and ecosystem partners, as well as the technology community. The 20 playbooks that we run each quarter are customized for each startup venture based on budget, marketing objectives, and deliverables. So that concludes my session. Thanks very much for the opportunity to share what we do for our stakeholders. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Melroy. So, just one question that I have: the four, products that you have shown. I mean, is there any special criteria that you have used to choose those four? Because there are so many,
Yeah,
co-pilots and
exactly.
products which are there. I mean, it's a crowded market now. So, what is the criteria that you followed?
Yeah, so Vish, for me, it's like the other stuff, the Chat GPT, the Copilot, and all of that is kind of great, and but for me, these are the ones that kind of similar to what you had said earlier, and what Dennis had referred to as well. It's all about the ROI. It's all about strategic, the strategic things, and sort of startups and scale ups are looking for that strategic differentiators to to connect with prospects and customers and so on. So that's the key thing for me. So that's what I typically tend to focus on. Out of the 20 playbooks that we run, the key ones are the demand gen and the account based marketing, anything that's focusing on prospects and bringing in revenue and profitable revenue. So that's kind of the reason why I focus on the strategic ones for me.
All right, that's interesting. So there's a question for Dennis. Thank you, Melroy. Dennis, which AI solution? This is from Atul Kulshest. Which AI solution you recommend for business planning? I think Charlie has responded to him. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Charlie.
my
I'm back.
response is ChatGPT is excellent at it if you prompt it right and give it enough context to understand your objectives and your market.
Yeah, I agree with Charlie. I saw that question come in. Charlie did a nice. I also am heavily invested in ChatGPT 4. Uh, if a tool is not knowing this, 3.5 is free, but 4 is 20 a month, and we really, really highly recommend them 20 a month. It's like asking, 3.5 is like asking a grammar school kid to do your research, and 4.0 is like asking a PhD to do your research for you. If you're getting started with a AI tool in order to accomplish things like business planning, I completely agree with Charlie. ChatGPT 4 would be an ideal launch pad for that.
Thank you. Okay, now let's come to the exciting session. We are going to have some real world examples from Charlie, especially in terms of customer simulations, sales training, and hiring and recruitment.
Awesome.
Uh, let me just a sec. Yeah,
I'll
let me
attempt.
add.
I'm going to attempt a live demo, so let's see how it goes. Just going back to Melroy's presentation, actually 10 years ago, when I was in marketing at Cisco, we adopted agile marketing because the software development team had adopted agile. And what we had found was because they were iterating on the process, they usually didn't actually know what the end result was going to be because you were learning as you built the product. And marketing at the time was still using a traditional product launch strategy where you built a brief and then you built this roadmap of how you're going to launch this campaign and everything in it. And what we actually found was we would get to the product launch 6 months later and the product features had changed. Even the name of the product had changed, like everything had evolved through the process. And we realized that marketing had to evolve with it. And so we very, very early on adopted Agile, which evolved into this Agile marketing framework. So I strongly recommend it if you haven't done it. All right, I am going to do desktop sharing. Okay, so the first demo that I'm going to show, it's actually relatively new. If you're not familiar with it, ChatGPT launched what is called GPTs at their dev conference not that long ago. Anybody can create these customized chatbots that you can program with content, with specific prompts that you can reuse or you can share with other people. You can either chat with it and tell it what you want to do, or you can go in and configure it with detailed prompts like you can see here, conversation starters, and you can share files, right? You can even enable code interpreter, image generation, or web browsing. This one, we found we actually needed to, let's see if I can get that to pull up. We actually needed to find a way to more efficiently train our sales team. And so we programmed it with all of our knowledge-based content. So all the content that someone can go read about how to use our product on our website, as well as top questions we tend to get in sales meetings and how we really want the sales reps to respond to those so that we're consistent. And what you can see here is this is a GPT, or consider it, an agent or an assistant that is programmed to simulate sales conversations with specific personas and then test your responses and give you feedback. And so this one, I'm just going to say, let's role play a network architect. It throws out, if you're ready to start. It's also recommending that I use the mobile app, which I'll show you in a second. And I'm just going to say, yep. And it is going to begin by creating a scenario where I'm meeting with a network architect who's interested in a Elicity solution for a large enterprise. They are concerned about security and efficiency. So can you tell me how Elicity solutions can help improve security of our network, particularly in terms of managing access to potential threats? I'll just say, I'm new. I don't know. and it will actually go in and tell me, nope, don't worry about this. I'm going to actually coach you through this. And it gives you good feedback. You can ask it questions. It'll actually continue this as if it was a real sales meeting. You'll get a transcript of it. You can come back. You can do it again, practice your responses. What is really valuable, we found, I was actually developing this with a colleague of mine, Nicole Leffer. And what we found was text is good, but voice is better. And so what you can see here is the recommendation is actually to use this on the mobile app. It also works on the iPad, and do it in what is called voice to voice mode. So if you go into your mobile app, you have this little headphone icon, and audio is probably not going to stream very well, but it is important that you see how we do this. So if I click that button, let's role play a conversation with a network architect.
Great. I'll take on the role of a network architect. We'll explore a scenario where you're presenting Elicity solutions to me. Remember, I might have specific technical concerns and questions. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, let's begin.
All right, as a network architect, my first question is, how does Elicity's solution integrate with existing network infrastructure, especially in a complex environment with multiple vendors? Now, please provide your response.
Elicity integrates with multiple various switching platforms that exist in your network without having to install new hardware. That's not the best answer.
That's a good start. You correctly highlighted the hardware-free aspect of Elicity's integration. Here's a more detailed response you could use. Elicity's solution is designed to seamlessly integrate with your existing network infrastructure, regardless of its complexity or the variety of vendors involved. Our platform is hardware agnostic, meaning it can work with your current setup without requiring additional hardware installations. We focus on making the integration process as smooth and non-disruptive as possible, ensuring that your network's efficiency and security are enhanced without major overhauls or downtime. Next question. Can you explain how Elicity ensures network security?
Okay. It's really cool. You get the actual transcript. You can go back, you can read. It told you, yeah, it was a pretty good response, but here's what you really should say. This is aligned with exactly what we want our sales team to say. And you can go back and you can do it again. There's nothing, chat is great again, but there's nothing like on the spot having to come up with a response to a customer and then getting real-time feedback. Traditionally, someone had to shadow another sales rep, go in and present to an internal team multiple times, get feedback, do it again and again and again. This is something we programmed into a bot in a GPT that can be used by anyone at the company. And it is very, very effective at onboarding new sales reps, or even taking existing ones and making them a little bit better. So there's one use case. Any thoughts or comments from the other panelists on that?
Yeah, I have a question, Charlie. So for building an extensive knowledge about sales in itself is very elaborative in terms of understanding your customer, understanding the environment. You talked about one specific example. So how do you feed that data? I mean, what is the so you have your own proprietary data, or if it's been integrated or it's been used by any organization, how do they feed in their data specifically about their solutions or products?
Yeah, great question. I get that every time I show this. So within the GPT, it's actually not that complicated. If I hide this real quick, you have the ability to upload files. So if you look in the configure pane, you can see that I have actually uploaded 3 files. One is our logo, and I want that to show up here. The other is top questions and answers. These are both JSON files. Essentially, it literally just says question, what's the question, answer, what answer do we want people to give, and then index KB is actually our knowledge base. So we just did an export from our Zendesk help desk of all of our support files and just gave the raw data to this GPT. And then I did give it some very, specific instructions to use these files, reference them, do's and don'ts, But it's pulling from that content. Anybody can do this. This is not that complex. There's no API calls going on. It's not that elaborate, but it's a novel use case that a lot of people haven't thought of yet.
Okay, that's awesome. In fact, the entire demo is great. That could be an excellent sales coach. Is there also a recurring way or to train this data or upload this data? I mean, do you have to normally kind of look at this data updation, say once in a quarter, or is there any periodic? What do you recommend?
We're looking at it regularly. Like I said, the one file that is questions and answers, it's very easy to add a new question and a new answer to it as things come up. We actually use a platform called Gong for all of our sales calls. They record the calls, it analyzes it. Actually has an integration with ChatGPT. We actually can pull out dynamically what are all the questions we're hearing. And if we get a really good response from someone, we can actually capture that, share it with the team, and then we'll program the bot with it. And so it's ongoing. We're building it. I mean, we're relatively mature as a startup. We've been in the market for a few years, and we know what the top questions are. So it's not changing rapidly, but we're evolving it. It's very easy to update.
Thank you.
Okay. The next one, I'll do this one hopefully relatively quickly so I can show the last one, which is recruiting. So if you're not familiar with it, from a product development standpoint, one of the lean startup models to use is this idea called a value proposition canvas from Strategizer. And instead of creating a product and finding a market or a customer, you find a market or a customer, you follow them around for a couple of days, you identify what their jobs to be done are, and the gains or outcomes they're trying to achieve by doing that job, and the pains they experience through it. And then you actually build a product or a service that helps them do those jobs and creates the gains better than your competitor potentially, and relieves the pains that they might have through that process. So you create a better product, right? And what you can actually do is you can tell with some good models, you can focus the model by saying things like, you're a certified expert in the Strategizer value proposition canvas. So you're narrowing its focus in, I know how to use this program. And then you're skilled at conducting interviews and identifying jobs, pains, and gains, and then craft insights so that I can create new products or services. But you can actually tell it to actually, confirm to me that you actually know what this is, right? I'm doing this in 3.5. I think Dennis made the comment earlier, you should always do it in 4. Live demos, 3.5 is much faster. So I'm going to do it in 3.5. So I'm going to say, let's see, provide with the transcript. Sorry, guys. Stop sharing. Hold on a sec. Okay, there you go. Provide me with the transcript of an interview with a network architect in 1,000 words. So now it knows my name's Charlie because I programmed ChatGPT with my instructions. It's now interviewing this network architect, and it's asking about their responsibilities. Obviously wear many hats. Tell me about a recent project. So it's simulating what it knows about a network architect, and it's doing this interview. So then you can actually take that interview that you might pay an agency or an expert thousands of dollars to actually conduct. Now, provide me with a value prop. Now it's identified this is the segment we're going after. These are their jobs that they do: designing, implement secure, scalable networks, ensuring network performance and reliability, pains they experience, things like balancing performance and security in network design, coping with dynamic nature of cloud services, gains as well. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for startups. Again, I'm not saying this replaces interviews with customers, but it can augment them, right? This is a way to simulate hundreds of conversations with different personas. If you regenerated this over and over again, you'd get different answers, slightly different, sometimes drastically different, and help you actually potentially even prepare for a real interview with the customer, so you know the right questions to ask and maybe even validate some of these assumptions. And then what you can even do is you say, create me a landing for this product called security. Yeah. I'm just gonna make that up. So creating a landing page. Provide me HTML for this landing page. There's the HTML of the landing page aligned to the value proposition canvas of this new product and service that I just created, selling to a very specific persona. And you can see I actually did this in 3.5 already. And this is literally the file that ChatGPT 4 gave me. It even generated this background image. The reason it shows a heart is I actually gave it more specific to a hospital network architect and created all the content. Like this I did this in 5 minutes. So this is an excellent way. Like what is key to this is to really give it focus, give it a persona, give it a specific model, give it really, really good directions and context. Normally I would actually provide it with much more. And then use that to gather insights. And then, like I said, like prepare for interviews with real customers, validate some of these assumptions. But when brainstorming new products and services, this can be extremely powerful for startups or entrepreneurs. So
Okay.
any thoughts
Charlie,
on
we
that?
have less than 5 minutes now, so
Yep.
we're only 4 minutes away from the.
Yep. So the last one, I'm gonna show this one done instead of live demoing it. So this one, you can actually look at the process of reviewing candidates for new jobs who are submitting resumes, and you can give it this persona. Feel free to screenshot it and tell it that it's going to help you review these personas. It's going to write a job description. As you can see, I gave it specifics about why you joined the company, benefits, how to apply. Wrote a job description for me. I hate writing job descriptions; saves so much time. Then I can actually say, write a evaluation matrix for this job. And you can customize this, tell it, what, I want it to be 20%, 30% here, etc. And you can actually drop in resumes from people that are applying and score that person against the job description and the matrix. And it'll tell you if this is a good candidate or not. Now, why this is really powerful is you could actually build this as an automation in something like Zapier that would automatically review people that apply for jobs. And if it met a certain threshold in the score, it could shoot an email off to the hiring manager and they could say, do I want to meet with this person or not? And they could even write the email to respond to them, say that they want to meet with them, and even check your calendar, send a couple of times that you're available. And within minutes of them applying, you could actually have a meeting scheduled with that candidate, which becomes a strategic advantage if you're recruiting because people are applying at multiple companies all the time. So this is another example. Like if you're interested in these use cases, just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to go deeper and share them with you. I love advising companies on how to adopt this stuff. It's really exciting for me, and I enjoy doing it.
That's really good cases, real world cases that you shared, Charlie. In fact, there's a question now. I mean, there are two questions which we need to answer. One question, I'll take the last one first. So, can you share the cost involved to leverage those ChatGPT services in corporate?
Well, I mean, it's $20 a month per user for Plus, which I strongly recommend investing in. We actually let our employees expense it because we want to encourage adopting this technology. And I tell the team to think AI first, try and fail 5 times doing something with AI before you go back to the old way. And it forces them to be creative. There are more other models. You can use things like Respell to access the Azure OpenAI models. You can get signed up directly with Microsoft, or you can pay for ChatGPT Enterprise, which is a little bit hard to get.
Okay, and how do they get access to your co-pilots that you showcased? So if they go to ChatGPT, or they need to reach out to you for getting access to
reach out to me. I don't share the sales coach one just because that's really more of an internal tool. I post a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. But yeah, if you want to see anything in detail, just reach out to me directly. I'm also a member of the AI Exchange community, where it's a Slack and an online community where we share a lot of content like this, and I learn a lot from that group.
Awesome. Okay, we have another question here. It's from Ravi, and this is there a linear path to determining the ROI from lead-led indicators and the investment in generative AI? I think this connects with the slide that I've shown, especially in terms of the lead and lag indicators. I think I'm not sure if there's a linear path to determine ROI from these lead lag indicators, But so there are certainly ways in terms of using prompt engineering to figure out which are the lead lag indicators, and that do data analysis and get the insights. So that's what but I would request my panelists to, if they have any insights, any use case they want to share specifically to this question.
Well, I just like to say that linear path to anything is kind of not just difficult, but I mean, it's kind of putting the blinkers on, right? So I mean, there's always a 360-degree view that's going to help you out. So I mean, that's just my high level strategic viewpoint on this, Vish.
Thank you, Melroy. Charlie, do you have anything to add?
I mean, ROI and generative AI, it is a lot of upfront time investing in your team and learning how to do things, reading other examples. I read a lot of academic research, actually. But once you start to figure these things out and get good at it, the time savings are just monumental. And the efficiency that a startup can generate by leveraging generative AI, we actually have put it into our product and our platform. We have chatbots for our customers. We're building it into some specific detailed content on behind the scenes for our customers. It is a strategic advantage for you, and you can measure that in hours and even potentially working with smaller teams, because startups have to work with smaller teams, and competing with bigger teams, right?
I agree. Dennis, do you have any input here?
My only add would be that we be as prescriptive as we can. You can get lost in the AI jungle very quickly because of just the breadth, the depth. It's the one technology that's come along in my lifetime where I can't figure out what the outer dimensions to it are. Generally, you work on something that takes care of payments or whatever. This thing is so amorphous and big and evolving at a speed that's breathtaking. We can't figure out what you can't use it for. The outside dimensions are still being elusive. And so I would encourage people to use it fairly prescriptively. I'm going to use it for this. Or even in the case Charlie brought up, hey, I got a database. What the hell could I use this database for? You actually have a data file and you can run around going, well, I never thought about using it for that, right? So it's a big ask. So take AI, try to do one thing with it, just one,
Yeah.
and you'll find
Nice.
that the door opens up very quickly, and you're going to be sucked into that universe very quickly.
Yeah. No, I'll add to this point as in terms of what Charlie mentioned earlier. Adopt early, fail fast, fail early. I think that's very important, especially when you have access to Chat GPT, or so many tools which are there, and it's so cost effective to access these tools. So why not start adopting these tools, and then listen to the sessions like ours, where you can get a lot of insights in terms of how to use these tools in order to make your work more streamlined, or simplifying your work, or getting more value addition to that. So I hope this session would have inspired our audience to make 2024 the year your company really taps AI to achieve your most vital business objectives. This session is recorded, and this session is going to be available on different channels. It's going to be on LinkedIn and YouTube. But thanks everyone for making this session interactive. And I would like to thank my esteemed panel, Dennis, Charlie, Melroy, joining and sharing their insights here with all of them, with all the participants here. And I wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We'll see you next year with another session, and that's going to be on the focal point with AI, and that's also important, considering the fact that while we have discussed about business plan, we have discussed about business outcomes. Now let's take a look at the focal point, how we can drive focal point for the business, and that's important to drive success, especially in a world which is full of competition, and where there are so much of different dynamics which is kind of impacting them. So till then, thank you so much, and we'll see you on January 11th. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Bye.